What's happening, YouTube? You are definitely in the building with the Avengers of life gains and current culture. It's the original members. It's me. It's that living legend, Larry. My brother, Larry. How you feeling today?
Man, I'm trying to make it. I've been having a tough day, so if I get a little salty, a little grizzly today, just bear with me.
Well, I think most people would say they're used to the grizzly. They probably come to this show for the grizzly. And if you can get any more grizzlier, then we might have to put out some kind of censor on this channel. Oh, man. But ladies and gentlemen, we are definitely going to get in. We're going to talk about power. I have a theory of who's going to die. And some of y'all might say, well, why somebody got to die? Because it's TV, man. Somebody is going to die. And well, somebody's already died, honestly. But I mean, someone who has substance to the story is going to die. We're going to cover that. But more importantly, probably I'm not going to say it's the most important subject, but the second most important subject. Well, for the time being, the most important. We've got to talk about y'all's damn lying ass president that over 65% of the nation knew he was lying from day one. More things have come out about this president and his handling of the coronavirus, his handling of the military, the way he feels about the military. It's all come out, and we're going to discuss that. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end on stocks. And before we get into the power debate, let me shout out to everybody that's in here to rock with us and to help make us all feel good tonight. My family, Mike Willie. And Mike Willie, when I'm done shouting out everybody, I'm going to give you your visual feel good because you did send me a Cash App support. I appreciate you, my brother. Mark Guy, Tracy Lee, Alex Huron, excuse me if I messed up your name. Support Gaming Cash Money, 351 Cleveland. The only one we missing right now is Buzz and Trisha C. And I'm sure they'll fall in here in a moment. But for my man, Mike Willie, and I told you I've got a whole set of new ones. This one right here is for you, my brother, because I know you as old school as I am. Woo! Mike Willie, you showed me that love by sending me a super chat, baby. And that brought you back home tonight, brother. So I appreciate you. And everybody, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe. If you're new to seeing Larry, subscribe to his channel. Link is in description. And without further ado, it's time to talk about power. And who do I think is going to die? Well, I'm going to show you a clip of one of the people I think is going to die, and then I'll explain why, and we'll see what Larry can come up with.
So what, he's not from the hood? Does that mean he doesn't pass your blackness litmus test?
So you're telling me the same kid came in with the same story, but he was white. You expect us to change the rules?
We already have enough white students in the class.
Of those two people, one of them is going to kick the bucket. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've already established that Professor Megram probably has a crush on Reek, and more than likely, Reek is going to get some of them grown woman panty draws, and she's going to awaken him to manhood. So having said that, naturally, Jabari is going to die. And I think he's going to die because some diabolical situation Professor Megram is going to get caught up with, dealing with Tariq and his drug game. She trying to defend Reek. Professor Jabari still loving Professor Megram. He's going to take one for the team to try to save Professor Megram, and he's going to catch a bullet. Larry, what do you think?
I mean, I wasn't thinking that, but now that you mention it, it sounds very similar to the storyline that would be with what's her name? That would have been with Tasha and that attorney that got taken out. You know, it could be very. It seems like it would be very similar to that. So I could see that happening. You know, but honestly, I think what's going to happen is Tariq's going to hook up with that professor, and Effie's going to kill her because Effie's going to get jealous.
Wait a minute. Wait. Breaking news, ladies and breaking news. Larry, are you saying you think Effie is going to catch a body and it's going to be Miss Megram, Professor Megram? What?
Yep, I think she's gonna get caught up in all that mess because of Tariq, and then when Effie comes through with it, she's over gonna hate the chick because Effie's gonna still have feelings for Tariq. She's gonna go ahead and just I mean, I think she's already got bodies on her. I think that's why she walks with that confidence that she has because she's already got bodies on her. She already knows what it is.
You think Effie already got bodies?
Yep.
What?
I think Effie Ben had bodies. I think she had bodies before she went to choke.
Well, damn, ladies and gentlemen, we just breaking Power News Book 2 left and right. So there's someone else I think is going to die too. If it's not Jabari, this would be my second case. Ezekiel, the basketball player. He has every reason to die. He is the cousin of Mary J. Blige's character, Monet. Her son is as dirty as they come. We know Diana is probably dirty too. And when there comes to having collateral damage, I can easily see somehow or another the basketball player getting killed because you've already seen how Mary J. Blige is really trying to protect his interests. When shit went down in this past episode, she went and got him first. She ushered him to safety first, which lets you know she has a lot of intent. She wants to see him do well. She wants to see him further his career. But by showing how protective she is of him, also for me highlights that his ass could be kicking the bucket. Larry, expand on my second theory.
I could see him maybe going out possibly like towards the end of the season. But to be honest with you, when I think about who might get taken out from that crew, I think it might be the young chick that Tariq is sort of eyeballing because she's more like a little sister to Zeke. Mm-hmm. And so I think when Zeke gets mixed up with all that stuff, I think it might be the little sister that catches hell the same way that Tariq's little sister got caught. She got caught up in all that. She was trying to do the right thing and she got blasted. I could see her end up trying to do the right thing by Zeke. And then as a consequence, she gets taken out.
Well, her name is Diana. And I think that everything you just said, you just reversed that and put it on Zeke. To go along with what I said about Zeke. I don't see them getting rid of Diana because Diana is going to be the direct connection between Monet and Tariq. I can easily see Diana being the person that tries to use Tariq to siphon information to give back to her mother. So I don't think they'll take her out, but I could easily see them taking out the basketball player because when you need to get rid of these 5 different storylines they've got going on with Tariq, because you can't run all 5 of these different storylines, he would be the easiest path of resistance to get rid of, and then he could just focus on his schoolwork and running the game with Brady.
I mean, here's the thing, though, with him. He's dirty. We know he's not a clean dude. He's dirty. And so it's easy to take out a bad guy. Bad guys generally get taken out in the end. They usually get taken out in the very end as some sort of either as at a time of redemption or at a time of retribution. And you get to feel some way about it, like I'm glad that dude's dead, or you feel bad about it because he was redeeming himself and now a bad dude's been taken out. I can see that happening for him at the very end, but I think more than likely what happens is what they kill someone that you think is innocent and someone that you care about, because then it hurts. And now you're invested in the story more. And that's why I think Diana might get taken out, because I think she's someone that is sort of an innocent in all of this. And we might end up actually caring about her. And we might see her with Tariq, and we might all end up thinking, don't mess with him. He's terrible. He's bad news. He's going to get you hurt or killed and mixed up in some badness. And then he'll get her mixed up in some badness, and she'll end up getting shot and killed or kidnapped and burned alive, or, or whatever.
Okay. Well, let's expand on what the people are saying in the comment section. First, we're going to go to our folk, Muchella, who hangs with the fellas up in New York. Muchella's saying she's saying Ezekiel is Tariq's free ride for school. Well, that would support more that Tariq should have someone take his ass out, because that's something he wouldn't have to worry about. Hell, it wouldn't be Tariq's fault if Ezekiel dies. And then the other information we've already seen from the trailer review I did, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. There's a visual at school campus for somebody. It ain't Ghost. So there is a school vigil where you've seen Professor Megram and you've seen the students having a vigil for somebody who kicked the bucket. Why not be Ezekiel? Then you help Tariq out. He don't have to do that thing with his deal with Stearns anymore. He's off the hook.
I mean, that's a possibility. That's a possibility, but I mean, somebody might get taken out. I don't know if it's gonna be Tariq that's gonna be doing it. I seriously doubt Tariq's gonna be a shooter this season. He might towards the later on in the season, but not right now. It's a possibility. I think they're gonna hold off on that for a little bit because I think they're actively trying to make us like Tariq. They're showing us him going through all this stuff where he's trying to be a student. He's trying to get his mom out of jail. They're trying to. He's not just being a bratty, snotty little kid like he was with his dad, just talking about why do I have to care about this? You did this. Why can't I do this? Blah blah blah. They seem like they're trying to make us like him. Can't make us like somebody when he's up there blasting fools. So. I mean, I think if we see that, it's going to be something maybe towards the end of the season when it's more of a self-defense justification. But I think some people are going to die. It's just going to be probably going to be done on Tariq's half. And I don't know.
Okay. Well,
it might be. I still think it might be Effie. Effie might take that professor out. She might be like, get up off the D. You know?
Oh, wow. I don't want to see none of them get taken out. Keep all the girls on this season. Keep all of them.
Now, they do have some nice looking women this season.
Oh, yes. And regardless of what Pale Waite said, they've got every spectrum. Regardless of what she said, I don't know what she's thinking. It's one of them girls as brown as me. Our boy Futuristic Mike is in the building.
Another thing I like about the women this season is that they're all natural looking. Like I don't see any of the big booty plastic fake chicks running around. I don't see a whole bunch of weaves and all that stuff jumping off. It just looks like good, natural, good looking women on there. Brown skin, light skin, Puerto Ricans, whatever. They all seem to be just beautiful black women that are all natural. So
then you've got racially ambiguous women like the attorney that was going up against Tasha in the very beginning of the episode, and then you got nice looking brothers up there too. So I think they done a good job with the casting. Now I can feel Pale Waite wanting someone even darker. I'm with all that, but I think they did try their best to mix it in. Now I've got one more theory, and I can't give y'all all my good theories in one video, but I think there is a point that everyone is overlooking. And it revolves around the same damn person we just got finished talking about. Shout out to Mike, Willie, and Vanessa. Ezekiel, the basketball player. Let's break this down, ladies and gentlemen. And Larry, think about what I'm saying.
Okay.
Why is Ezekiel so important to Simon Stearns that he's forcing someone to tutor him to get him through school? That should tell you. Well, what does someone have on Simon dealing with Ezekiel, or what is the situation with Ezekiel and Simon's relationship that he wants him to be tutored by Tariq?
Well, I mean, it could be that he has some dealings with Mary J, and they're in that whole business over there. It could just be too that. I mean, he's a booster for the school, and he wants to bring people in so that he remains valuable to the university. So if he's bringing Zeke in or making sure that Zeke stays eligible, that's one of those things that boosters can do to stay valuable to the school and maintain their position. So I mean, there could be multiple things. I don't want to say it's just one thing, because it could be just one thing. It could be that someone just has something on him, and so he's doing these things as a consequence. But it could just be that Simon Stearns has multiple reasons for it. It could be that someone has something on him. It could be that he's just a good booster.
Man,
I don't know.
Hell no. Simon Stearns is like Donald Trump. He's that type of con man. He's not just going to help some random black basketball player unless there's some vested interest for him. He's not just going to be doing something out of the kindness of his damn heart. Something is being hovered over Simon Stern's head, dealing with Zeke, and I guess we'll just have to wait and find out somewhere down the road as we go along with this season.
I'll say this. I have to disagree a little bit because I think, honestly, I think Simon Stearns took a genuine interest in Jamie, and when on the regular Power, and I think that if Ghost didn't really try and F him over, I think he would have been okay. I think if Ghost had been able to just seriously walk away from everything, like Ghost should have just said, "I'm leaving," and left and went to Europe and ran those clubs like he was wanted to do instead of messing around with Tommy. He should have just told Tommy, "I'm out, homie. I'm gone. Do what you want to do. Take the business. Don't take the business. I don't care what you do. I'm out." And he should have just left.
No, Simon Stearns first tried to finesse Ghost for the club, and then Ghost had to go get dirt on him and get the wife involved to refinesse Simon Stearns.
I know. I remember all that, but I think that once he realized who he was dealing with, because I think for a while he thought he was just dealing with some street kid who got lucky and happened to be a good promoter or something. I don't think he understood how much business acumen that Ghost had, and I think once he did, and then he had respect for him, I think he genuinely wanted to just work with him, and I think he could have if he wasn't on so much bullshit with Tommy,
which buffers my argument. The only reason Simon dealing with you is because he see a way he can get a gain out of it from you. Same thing.
Nothing wrong with that. The dude's a businessman. I'm not going to go work with someone that I don't think can do any good for me.
And he's not just going to randomly help some basketball player just out of the kindness of his heart. There's a benefit.
Well,
somewhere.
Yeah, and that's where I was saying maybe because he's a booster, maybe that's where the benefit comes in. There's a lot of stuff that happens with those boosters. Like, for instance, he owns clubs. So if the university wants to host parties, or if people from the university want to host parties, he has the facilities to do that. He has the club, the caterers, all that stuff. And so there's benefits to providing your services to your alma mater for, and then as a consequence, the people turn around and say, "Oh yeah, we need to host a party. We can hold it at Simon's place, or we need to do this or that. We can host it at Simon's place, or we can bring him in for catering or whatever else." I don't know. I'm not saying that there's not more to that because it's a TV show about a bunch of drug dealers and other criminals. So I'm sure there's something more, but it could be more than just one single thing that has him, wanting to help this kid.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but ain't none of them for altruistic reasons. That's all I'm saying. It ain't none of them just because he's a sweet white man out of New York that loves to help African American children get a leg up.
I can see that. I can see where he wants to have some benefit out of it. I can get that
all day. And having said that, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on to subject number 2. And it's politics, and it's y'all damn crooked ass, dumb ass, idiot ass, should have never been in the White House ass president. And if you're finding me and Larry for the first time, please subscribe. His channel, my channel, share. We've also got some great people in the comment sections whose channel you should subscribe to too. Futuristic Mike, subscribe to his channel. My brother Brandon, Just My Opinion Reviews, subscribe to his channel. And without further ado, let me give you guys the story on your president. And then I'll let you hear the actual audio of this clown saying what he said. So Trump did a series of interviews back around February and March when coronavirus was just getting started. All right. And I like the way this story is coming out now because it's almost like me and Larry took that juice they used in the second Avengers and went back to the past to see what's going on in the future. So the president has been telling y'all here lately, don't wear a mask. You don't have to worry about it. It's no worse than the flu. He's been saying all that. But what he didn't tell y'all was back in March and 8 February, he did a series of tape interviews. Questions was given to him, and listen to what this clown had to say. And if you still riding for Trump, you've got to evaluate how you come to your thesis about anything in life. Take a listen to this.
The president, in his own words, and just to set this up, remember, he has been publicly minimizing the threat to young people. Not a problem for young people. He still minimizes the threat to young people. So he addresses that, and then you'll hear he admits that he's not sharing everything he knows. You know, but John, this wasn't just about panic. The White House, we know, is very concerned about the economy. The president is very concerned about getting reelected. And what I think you have to just remind people is we've put together some of what the president is saying at the same time publicly in stark contrast.
The virus. They're working hard. Looks like by April, you know, in theory, when it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away. I hope that's true. But we're doing great in our country. China, I spoke with President Xi, and they're working very, very hard. And I think it's going to all work out fine. And again, when you have 15 people, and the 15 within a couple of days is going to be down to close to zero, that's a pretty good job we've done. It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear. Yes. And from our shores, it could get worse before it gets better. It could maybe go away. We'll see what happens. Nobody really knows. Stay calm. It will go away. You know it is going away. And it will go away. And we're going to have a great victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I give the floor to Larry, I have a few things I need to say. Number one, when a hurricane is coming, do you not tell the damn people a Category 5 is not coming? Yes, the fuck you do. And the reason you tell people that is because they need to be prepared. They need to have their mind in sync to listen to the professionals that study this and tell you how to protect yourself. That's number one. That was a lack of leadership. You put the American people in harm when you did that. Number two, you claim you are not trying to put people in panic. But yet every time I've seen you in the last 3 weeks, you're out here talking about how these protesters are going to come to white people's neighborhoods and tear up their yards, burn down their houses. You're stoking panic for that. And then lastly, when they asked him at a press conference today about this issue, first and foremost, he was talking about why you need to reelect him because of judges, ladies and gentlemen, because of judges. And when they asked the president directly about this bull job, he said he did not want to admit that he lied. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, how in the hell can you trust anything he's ever said? Because number one, it was a dereliction of duty to sit here and lie to the American people about something this chaotic. You don't lie about this. When aliens enter the atmosphere, people need to know. You should tell them by the time the aliens get to the moon. But when they enter the atmosphere, you need to know. And in February, coronavirus was in America. We should have known. We should have been in panic mode so that we can be prepared to do the right things. And last point I'll make. He comes out talking about who is on his list for Supreme Court judges if he gets reelected. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you may or may not know this, but there is one arm that has control over the presidency, even though we're supposed to be co-equal branches. The judiciary has control over the president because when you write bullshit-ass laws, the Supreme Court can knock it down, which is further fodder for why you have to get out there and vote for Biden. And secondly, to add to all the minutia Trump was screaming today, how the hell are you going to try to tell Biden that he needs to release his list of judges because they're probably radical when you still, President Trump, ain't release your damn taxes if you're talking about transparency with the American people? Larry, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten to a place in this country where, as terrible as it may sound, we have half of the country who are, I don't see how there's any argument that can be made that people who support Trump are patriots at this point. I mean, these people are actively working against the best interest and the safety and security of the American people. So there's no way that you can call them a patriot. We're no longer talking about policy measures in which way is the best way to lower taxes, or which way is the best way to educate children, or which way is the best way to provide health care for people. We're no longer talking about things like that. We're no longer talking about policy issues. We are talking about national security issues. We are talking about the president and the Republicans knew that the coronavirus was much more of a dangerous threat to the American people than it was, and they chose to do nothing about it. And they still choose to do nothing about it. They're still out there actively working against people who are trying to fight the virus. I mean, we just had a report out saying that the Sturgis bike rally in South Dakota caused 20% of the new cases of COVID-19 in this country from one incident, from one gathering. And that's so far. That's just so far. 20% of all the new cases are directly related from just that one outing. These are a bunch of crazy ass white people who do not care about anything else except for them and their whiteness. They are afraid they are going to be displaced, and they are willing to tear this country to the ground. Their sense is that if they can't rule America as a white country, that they will burn it to the ground, and that is what they are trying their best to do. That's why they are allowing Donald Trump in there. It does not matter if Donald Trump is on camera kneeling down, kissing a ring of Vladimir Putin, swearing his allegiance to him. It does not matter. They are going to vote for him anyways. They will vote for him anyways. They already say, there's plenty of them out there already saying it's better to be a Russian than a Democrat. They don't care. They are not American patriots. The only thing that we can do is make sure we go out and vote in such mass that we overwhelm not only their vote, but we overwhelm all of the Russian and Republican shenanigans that they are going to do at the ballot box. We need to make sure that we vote in such mass that we overcome whatever margin of error there possibly could be. Mm-hmm. We don't want there to be any issue where they say, okay, well, it looks like this could have been this looks like there could have been some shadiness from the Russians, or could have been some shadiness from this or that, and that changed it by 1% or 2%. And so if that would have happened, then Biden would have won. No, we need to make sure that we go out there so Biden wins by 8 points, 9 points, 12
points, right?
You know, so that when they get out there, when they go out there and they've pulled all their shenanigans, and it looks like, okay, well, they've done enough to move the needle 2 or 3 points. It won't matter. It won't matter because Biden will still have won by such an overwhelming margin. I mean, this is not a matter of politics anymore at this election. We've had elections that were just about politics. This is not one of them. This is a matter of life and death.
Oh,
and I hope people understand that this is a matter of life and death. And if you don't take it as such, it could be your life and your death.
Well,
I mean, Larry, that's really what it is.
Well, let's just think about what he's basically saying to his supporters. All right. He is basically telling his supporters, I knew that this thing was worse than the flu and it was airborne, but I'm still going to have your dumb asses come to a rally that I know y'all going to come see me and tell y'all not to wear masks. He's basically telling you, I'm trying to sacrifice you people that keep going to his rallies. This is what this recording is telling you. It's telling you how much he really cares about you. He only cares about you to keep him in power. If he's willing to have you come somewhere, knowing this thing is airborne, knowing it's more dangerous than the flu, and he's protected, he's getting tested every damn day, but he's willing to let you, his fans, come and see him and risk getting sick. That should tell you everything you need to know. If he will get you, his fans, sick, well, what the hell do you think he cares about the average American that don't like his ass? You guys want to see this country burn down? And I've heard so many stupid ass excuses for him. Oh, I'm not voting for Biden because I don't want socialism. Well, bitch, we already got that now. And there is something that
Biden is not a socialist. Biden is a straight up moderate.
It don't matter. It don't matter. because Republicans like socialism too. It's called giving it to the rich. That's number one. Then I heard someone say that Bob Woodward tricked Trump to that. And Larry, you see my response to that. If Bob Woodward tricked Trump into telling the truth, then there is a problem with the person that you're calling the president of the United States. There's a greater problem with him. So, ladies and gentlemen, no matter how you shake this thing, and you can shake a chicken till the neck fall off and you fry the chicken, his ass has got to go. And Larry, I give the last word to you on this.
I mean, that's one of those things when people say that they tricked him. You have a journalist that is an experienced journalist. He's experienced at interviewing people. He knows how to ask people questions, make them feel comfortable, and lead one question into the next question so that he can get the answers that he's ultimately, looking for. Now, he's not looking for a particular answer, but he is looking for answers to a particular question.
Right.
And so if you're an experienced journalist, then you know how to ask questions in a series so that you can get to those final questions and get people to answer them. And part of that is getting people to answer little bits by little bits by little bits. So by the time that they get to that one final question, they've already given up most of the ghost. All they have to do is just put the cherry on top. And that's what he did. That's what Bob Woodward did with Trump.
Larry, he gave Trump all the questions before the interview. He gave Trump all the questions before the interview. How is that trying to trick somebody? If you got tricked by your own trick, you got a trick.
Right. And here's the problem, too, is that when this interview happened, Trump probably still didn't think the coronavirus was that big of a deal. He probably didn't think it was going to be as much of a political time bomb for him, because this was some months ago. So he probably was thinking this isn't a big deal. It'll blow over, whatever. He probably didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. And now it's one of those things that's going to define his presidency. And so now these tapes are out there. And I mean, unfortunately, I would love for this to really matter. But unfortunately, the reality of it is we live in a country where half of the people belong to a legitimate political party, and we have the other half of the people who are basically in a cult. They are no longer Republicans following a Republican agenda and Republican ideals. They are in a cult that follows their leader, Donald Trump.
Their dictator. Their dictator. Their dictator.
Their dictator, whatever. That's what it is. They are in a cult. They're no longer following the ideals of their party. They're following this particular leader who changes whatever those ideals are on a whim for whatever he feels like in that moment. And when I mean in that moment, I mean that. I don't mean that he changes a couple weeks or months later when something else changes the next day. I mean, literally, we have seen him change his position from one sentence to the next. Mm-hmm. And so you can't really, I don't know how you deal with someone in a cult, because in large part, some of the Republican leadership, these are not people that are idiots. These are people that are academically intelligent. I don't want to give them any more credit than that, but they're academically accomplished. They're lawyers and doctors and teachers and all kinds of different professions. And a lot of people who are intelligent and they make really bad decisions, they have a hard time admitting that they made a mistake. Not that other people don't, but I think it sometimes is particularly difficult for people who are supposed to be known as being someone intelligent, because they don't want to admit they were wrong. They don't want to admit that somebody who other people look to and aspire to be like and is supposedly intelligent and well-read and well-thought, made this heinous and ridiculous decision. And I think that's where part of the problem is coming in, is that these people just simply don't want to admit that they're wrong with Donald Trump, when really what they should do is just go ahead and acknowledge that they made a mistake, cut their losses, and walk away from that and say, we need to move on from this. But they're too afraid to make that. They're too afraid to make that acknowledgement. And so they're going to try and just go ahead and take us down with them, because that's really where they're at. They're like, well, If we have to go down, we're going to take everybody with us. Instead of throwing people lifeboats and getting them off the ship, they're just like, nope, we're gonna lock all the cabin doors and make sure everybody drowns with us.
Yeah, that's a good analogy,
crazy.
Larry. That's a great analogy because the Trump sycophants, that's how they feel about this. Instead of doing what can benefit them, because most of them are not rich, most of them are poor, middle class and poor that love his ass. Instead of him, and he hasn't done nothing to help them policy wise, the only thing he does is give them a morale boost by saying, make America great again, which is really saying, make America white again. And those people will vote for that than voting for what's in the best interest of not only them, but all the people in America.
And all those white people out there that want to feel like they want to run around thinking that they feel better because we have our Donald Trump, he's gonna make America great again and blah blah blah. Here's the thing: you can feel like that all you want, but while you're out there not doing the things that you need to do to
For
make
yourself.
America better, instead of just trying to go out there and try and pump your chest up and act better because you're white, run around with your AR-15s and act like you're big Billy badass and feel like you're on top of the world because you can go and walk past cops and throw up hand signs to acknowledge to them that you're one of your white supremacist friends while they kill black people. While you want to do all of that, what's happening is black people and brown people, Hispanics, Indians, just everybody. We're in school. We're at universities. When you go to the hospital, people get upset. I'm so upset. Whenever I go to the hospital, I can't find anybody but a black, brown, or Asian doctor. That's right. Because guess what? We understand the game and we're playing it. It's a long game. This is not a short-term game. While your kids are out there running around playing with guns and then overdosing on freaking opioids, our kids are out there going to school, getting degrees, becoming politicians, becoming doctors, becoming lawyers, becoming accountants, writing algorithms that control your Wall Street, writing algorithms that are collecting data on everybody. They're black and brown and Asian people are out there doing the things that we need to do to lead and run this country in the future, because minorities in this country are the future. We are at the very last stages of a white majority in America. If white people want to get out with the program, get out with the program. If not, then all that's going to happen is you will get left behind. You will be a left behind minority because you will be up there with a bunch of drugged out, drunk up kids that don't have a decent education because they didn't want to go to school. And do you honestly believe that when they have to go in for a job interview, right now they can go in for a job interview as a white kid with a minimal education, and when there's a white person sitting across the table, sure, they're going to get a job. But guess what? When you have me sitting across the table, when you have Lamont sitting across the table, when you have an Asian person or an Indian person, somebody who's had to work their butt off twice as hard to get to every place that they've ever been, and when they've gone to these great schools and they've gotten good grades and they have degrees and good jobs and they're hiring people, do you think they're going to hire some dingbat who doesn't have a degree and hasn't taken his life seriously because he's white? Hell no. They're going to find the best candidate regardless of what that person's skin color is, which means if you don't take this stuff seriously and stop acting like a fool and think about making America great, if you really want to make America great, then get down with Americans. Don't get down with white supremacy. That's not America. Those people want to be Nazis and Confederates. Guess what? Neither one of those were Americans. Confederates weren't Americans. Nazis weren't Americans. Those were people who fought against America. If you want to make America great again, get down with America. And America does not have the same face today that it did 50 years ago. And you need to get used to it because that is what it is.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to put the exclamation mark on this, ladies and gentlemen. Nepotism for whites is dying. And last point, ladies and gentlemen, that I've been telling anyone who is a Republican that has enough respect to sit down to me and have a decent conversation. I've warned your asses that because you've rode this far right president for so long, what the hell are you going to do when you ruin the party and you lose control of it for the next 50 years, which is about to take place coming up this November? Ladies and gentlemen,
and just understand, people. I want people to understand. I don't want people to think that I'm trying to pump out some thing that white people are going to be oppressed. No, what's happening is that the playing field that we keep talking about, that we need to level the playing field. The playing field is starting to level out. Mm-hmm. That is what is happening. The playing field is starting to level out, and it's going to continue to level out over the next decade or so. And what happens is, if white people don't get down with it and learn to start playing at the same level, they're going to find themselves left behind. Because when you have people saying that, when you hear black people and brown people saying, I had to work twice as hard to get here, guess what? They did. I did. They did. Lamont did. We know what it means to work like that. When I go to hire someone, I'm not going to hire some white dude who does not have the same level of commitment and education and everything else. I'm not going to hire him just because he's white. And right now, that's the world that we sort of live in, and it's going away. I'm not trying to say that white people are going to be left behind just because they're going to be left behind. What I'm saying is the playing field is being leveled out. And if you're not going to end up, if you don't know how to play, if you don't know how to play by those rules, do not expect that you're going to be able to succeed in this country, because the reality of it is we have generations of black and brown people that have done nothing but work twice as hard. So if you think you're going to be able to continue to succeed by working, just giving the minimum, by just saying, oh, I'm going to go in there and my cousin's, uncle's, Jimmy's friend, whoever will hook me up, that stuff's going to be gone soon. And if you don't get a better work ethic, if you don't learn to get down with America, you will be left behind.
Mm-hmm. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will make this an individual clip so that you guys can share this education we just dropped on y'all using references right from our president. And we're going to move on to our final subject, which is stocks. And if you're finding me and Larry for the first time, subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to mine. Links is in description. Check out my boy Futuristic Mike. Check out my boy Brandon Avery, Just My Opinion Reviews. And ladies and gentlemen, over the last couple of days, the stock market has completely threw up the numbers. Finally today, it started to rebound. But before we get into that, let's just take a look at what Jim Cramer was talking about this morning as some of these stocks that broke our heart started to make a return.
I think that there is a bubble in a lot of tech stocks that are very hard to try to value. I mean, I had CrowdStrike on last night. How do you value CrowdStrike? They have the highest annual recurring revenue of any company I follow. How do you value Zoom, which has changed the world over a period of 6 months? And I think the answer is it's incredibly hard to value. Does that mean you then default to owning FedEx? Does that mean you end up buying Tiffany after the deal broke down? Perhaps. I'm just saying, you know what, if you took something off, which is what we were advising, and I've been advising, I don't know if you still want to take stuff off. I've been recommending selling for 3 weeks. Now we have big-time people who come on air and say, you know what, maybe you should get out. I can't do that because I did. I can't do it now. What if I do? You know what? Now's the time. Well, like, no, when I was saying sell them before, that was just a joke. This is for real. I mean, come on. Hey, well, that's like saying, you know what? The Chiefs, they're going to win the Super Bowl. Well, no, you see, they won the Super Bowl. So it doesn't really create value Thursday night, by the way, against the Texans. David, please, look at me, because you're right there.
I will. I'm looking at you, Jim. Yes.
I was bearish. Can I be as bearish on the Zoom down 30%? Perhaps I should be. But in the end, the way I look at things is, if you haven't bought anything, maybe you dip your toe in. Not when it's up a lot. I mean, do I want people to buy Apple up 3.5? Well, you know, maybe you buy a little and let it come in. I get discouraged when I hear people who have never let us in, so to speak, who think that the great unwashed who watch the show are really going to hurt themselves. Well, they got hurt on Sorrento and on Vaxart.
So that was the ladies and gentlemen. It dipped down pretty bad from basically Wednesday through Tuesday. It started to rebound a little bit. Probably now might be a good time to get into something that you like that has taken a dip. Larry, tell the people how you feeling, because I know you got a hot take about a stock that I've got many shares in.
Yeah, man, I'm upset about Tesla, man. Tesla can. I'm not gonna say I'm out. I'm just waiting. I put my orders in, my GTC orders in, and as soon as I can get out for my break even point, I'm out.
You out? You're not coming back?
Nope, I'm done.
You,
I'm done. It's too volatile. It's just, I mean, it all. Everybody kept saying the numbers don't make sense. The numbers don't make sense. The numbers really don't make sense. But it kept riding up and riding up and riding up. I honestly believe they're still going to have a big rebound before they finally tank.
right.
But they, some of the things, like I think they're gonna rebound a bit when they go to have that battery day. I think the lead up to that is gonna push it up again, and they're gonna have the battery day, and then I think there's gonna be a bit of I think it's gonna have a major correction at some point after that.
So
but I think part of
when you say major correction, what do you mean in terms of the share price ended today like 379? So what is considered a major correction to you? Because right now, from the March low, they are still up 75%.
I think that it'll probably run up. I think as it gets towards battery day, I would not be surprised at all if it runs back up to around 480, $500 a share. Mm-hmm. And I think it may crash down to almost half of that. I think it might drop and settle probably around 290, 300, somewhere around there.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I still believe
part of it is they announced, they said they were gonna issue 5 billion shares.
Yeah, they did already.
That's crazy. That just drives the price of the stock down. You can't just issue more shares and think that it's not going to depress the price.
Larry, they did that Tuesday. And we suffered the depressed price, and it's going back up.
We're not done with it yet.
No, we're not done. We're not done
with it yet.
And then
that's why I have I understand that it may go up towards battery day. It may run up and go past my break even point. And I'm not worried about that at this point. I just want out. Okay. I just want to. There's other companies out there that I think that I can make plenty of money with. I think if for those people that bought in and they got Tesla at $400 a share before the split, I think that's great. Mm-hmm. Those people made a lot of money. Good for you. For me, I'm just no. I'm gonna wait till I can break even, then I'm out. I'm gonna go pick up something else. I'll go grab some I don't know. I'll grab something. Maybe I'll grab some more shares of Apple or grab some IBM or Xerox or something,
So
I don't know what I'm gonna grab.
Just so people are clear, for you, Tesla was never a long-term hold. It was a short-term money play for what your plan was, correct?
Right. I wanted to hold a few shares. I was hoping that I would make enough money that I could sell and make enough that I could break even and hold a little earn. My original goal was, I was like, okay, if I get how many ever shares I get, if I can, let's say I bought 100 shares.
Right.
If I wanted to make enough that I could say, okay, I'm gonna sell 80 of those 100 and still keep 20, and I won't have to be out of pocket. The profit off of my 80 will have been enough to cover those 20 shares. And right now that's not happening. At this point, I just want out at my break-even point so I don't lose anything. And if it runs up, great. If it doesn't, well, I'm hoping I can get close enough to it. I mean, as I get towards battery day, mm-hmm. if I don't see that stock really move, if I'm close to my break-even point, getting close to battery day, and I'm not seeing it making a big move up, I might just dip out and take a small loss to get out of it. Because
it ran up pretty high today, considering all the bad news that hit Tesla from adding more shares to not getting included into the S&P, and then today it took a nice dip up. I think it still has a bright future, and I'm a long-term holder. And I bought a lot of shares a long time ago in March. So I believe in the company long term, as well as I want to get short-term cash too. But
well, you're good because your price, the price that you bought in on it, you bought the same price that you paid for it is what you probably paid for the original share price,
Right,
but it's
right.
actually at like the adjusted price right now after the split. So I mean, you're doing fine. I mean, you're basically, you paid 1/5 the price. So, but I bought after the adjusted price after the split. So I paid a higher price for it, and so at this point, I just want out.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I don't believe the way the stock is trading. Not that I don't think Tesla makes great cars. It's not that I don't think that they're innovative and trying to do, really interesting and beneficial things for society. But from everything that I've seen, it doesn't really seem like the numbers make a whole lot of sense. And
but we've always said that the numbers didn't make sense in terms of the fundamentals because they haven't sold a lot. But what people were investing in is a stake in the future. They see them being the leader in terms of technology for EVs in the future. And the other one that has done extremely well, Larry, that didn't even get affected by the dip last week is another one we recommended to people, which was Workhorse. That thing, and you remember I got in on Workhorse when it was $5.
Right.
And now Workhorse ended today, Larry, $24.95.
Yeah.
They didn't get affected at all. So I would say that is a great stock people should still be looking at if you're talking about you want to do something in the EV market.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Workhorse is doing well. Nicola's still doing. I think Nicola.
Lee, Neo, they're all doing good. Lee's doing good. Neo's doing good. Xpeng is doing well. But of all those,
Xpeng is suffering, man.
Xpeng suffered. They said Xpeng.
Well, I mean, it's. Well, let's see. So, hold on.
Last I checked, it was up 2% today.
Well, yeah, it's up 2% today, but it's down. I mean, I bought in at 23, which was basically what was which was basically its opening price when it opened up on, when it started trading at its IPO, and it's at 18.21 now. So, I don't know. And then Neo's up. Neo's definitely up. I bought in Neo at $8 and it's at 18, Lee, it's up a little bit. I bought it at 15 and it's at 16. So that's not bad. I don't know, man. I'll hold on to those because those, I mean, that's not like all that bad for me. It's just not that, but Tesla, I think it's just too much. I just had too much money in Tesla and it's making me nervous. I don't like to be that nervous with my money, especially when it's something like, I mean, honestly, in my own mind, in some regards, I've sort of written it off as just a loss. Like I've written it off in some respects. Like I'm going to have to take a major L on it. And so if I do have to take a major L, I've already worked through it emotionally. It's not going to be that big of a deal for me at this point, and apparently God must be looking out for me because, as my Tesla as the shares on my Tesla have dropped by like about $1,000. Now it's up a little bit today. So I think I'm down by, maybe, I don't know, $700-800 or something like that on my shares. But
all your other stuff is going up.
But my YouTube channel is going up. My YouTube channel, it's like an extra $1,000 I've made this month. And last month, I think I made like an extra $800. So,
hey, no doubt. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, hanging with Mont brings positivity either way you look at it. Either way you look at it. And ladies and gentlemen, do I think Tesla is going back up? Absolutely. People right now, one of the reasons I saw it went up today is because people are looking at it at a discount. So they're buying right back into it. And it might not go up as fast as Larry wants it to go up, but I can easily see the stock being back up well over $500, maybe within the next year or so. And I can easily see it getting back up to $800 once we get the sales in January. So if you've held it this long, just keep holding. Just keep holding. And I'm doing call options with my Tesla, meaning that I'm making premium for putting up 100 shares of Tesla. That's what I'm doing with Tesla right now. But and I reinvested some more money into Apple because it dipped down to 116 yesterday, and then it went to 112. Had to get some more of that. But ladies and gentlemen, if you've been listening to me from March, like Trisha C has, one thing that I have continuously preached to everybody, no matter how you invest in single stocks, make sure you leverage your portfolio with ETFs so that when we do have these market dips, your ETF pretty much stays the same and it doesn't dip the way that individual stocks dip. It's called leveraging and averaging your portfolio, managing your portfolio. So just as much money as you put in individual stocks you're willing to hold long term, also think about putting at least 50 cents to $1 into a great ETF like SPY, VTI, or Spider, one of those, or the Russell's ETF. So that way you hedge your bets against big market dips. And that's all I got for him, Larry.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do once I get out of Tesla. I'll see. I'll probably buy something else. I don't know what it's gonna be. I was hoping that I want to actually be out now. I'm really hoping that Tesla in the next day or two really moves sort of up. I'm hoping it has a nice move up quickly for some reason, and I can get out because I kind of want to buy some more airline stock because there's word that the next stimulus package is not going to give any real support to the airlines. And I think some of these airline stocks are going to drop. I would not be surprised if they announce the stimulus package isn't going to give any support for the airlines. I wouldn't be surprised to see, American Airlines, drop below $10 or see Delta Airlines drop down below 20 or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that. And if that happens, then I'm probably going to go ahead and pick some up.
Well,
sit on it.
If anybody is planning on buying some stocks tomorrow, I've got two big tips for you. Penn Gaming deals with gambling, and they're in a deal with DraftKings, who just signed on Michael Jordan. Grab you some of that Penn Gaming, ladies and gentlemen, because there's about to be gambling their ass off. Football starts tomorrow. And by the way, me and Larry will be back with our man E-Man. He couldn't make it tonight because of his football draft that he's doing. But he'll be here tomorrow. Me and Larry will be here tomorrow. My Miami Dolphins got the New England Patriots this Sunday. I'm taking all action because I rise with my Dolphins. And that's all we're going to talk about tonight, Larry. That's going to do it for this damn video. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe. Go get yourself a life game. Please go vote, people, and subscribe to my channel, Larry's channel, my brother Brandon's channel, Just My Opinion Reviews, and Futuristic Mike. And until tomorrow night at 9 p.m., we'll see you.
And please mask up.
Mask up.